The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. This is Matt Tour with Insurance Agency Marketing Services. We look forward to a great webinar this morning. We'll be covering 401k, IRA rollovers, and retirement seminars. Should be a very inclusive overview of doing seminars in those areas. So it should be a really educational for you out there in the field, things you can use for your day-to-day sales. So should be a really strong meeting we're doing this morning. We'll be taping this, so if you do want to review information you heard on this webinar, you can go ahead and listen in. Next couple of days, you can jump on and watch the recorded version of this and move forward from there. And we'll be joined by Dave Pimper here in a short while, so keep that in mind. Otherwise, appreciate you joining us in today's webinar. I'll be going over a few things early on, and then we'll get into the juice of the deal here shortly, based on the meeting itself on the 401k and IRA rollover seminar. So first of all, we've got a great business building operation here. You can refer agents to us and build up a group of referrals that are doing business underneath your referral base. You get $50 when they get contracted. You'll also receive a 20 basis point override on their production based on premium in the first, or as long as you were licensed in good standings, you'll continue to get overrides based on their business. So if you refer an agent to us that does $1 million of production in their first year, you'll actually receive a $2,000 override based on their business. So it's really a nice incentive for you to refer agents to us, and a great for you to build up additional cash coming into your bank account. So really a nice program there. We also do our marketing reimbursement, reimburse $100 for every $100,000 of indexed annuity premium you do with us. Great way to have us help you on your marketing. If you're doing seminars, or if you're doing telemarketing or mailings, internet leads, we'll help you with all those costs based on your production. So really nice program there. We also have our Fast Start new producer bonuses available, and based on different levels of production, you can earn different incentives. If you do $300,000 of production with us in the first 90 days, you can get a $1,500 gift card. You can get a $2,000 marketing reimbursement account. You can also look at doing a Social Security lead program. If you do $500,000 with it, which is the highest level, you can get a Ritz-Carlton weekend travel package. We also have a couple of great seminar coaching systems, one through Dave Pimper, one through Matt Gill. A great way to use their expertise on what they do in the field and be able to translate that into your own seminars and writing your own production based on those seminars. So really nice turnkey program we have available there at that higher level of production. And we've had a number of people that have used those, and we're really expanded out their business based on using those seminar systems. So definitely worthwhile taking a look at that. Got a great back office team. They help you out with from start to finish on case development, case management, getting new business in the door, getting that processed on our end, getting it through the insurance company's hands, and getting that issued back out to you. So we help you out from A to Z. We help you with the initial process, getting licensed, getting quotes, getting everything taken care of. We handle all of that, and then we go ahead and help you in the new business status side of it, where we help you get those cases underwritten and issued. So that's the bottom line. We don't get paid unless you get paid, so we want to make sure that we get as much business issued and paid as we can, and thus everyone is happy on all sides. So definitely keep that in mind. We got a great creative department. We got Tasia, Josh, and we also have Andrew. They do a great job on developing flyers, mailouts, social media marketing. They do a great job on website development. Maybe you want to redo your business logo. Maybe you want to redo your business cards. They help you with all of that. So that's really a great go-to team. I know they've got about 40 people they're working with right now on getting things changed with their businesses. So they definitely have lots of great experience. And we've seen some nice results based on what they've done for agents. We've seen some nice production written, expanding out their marketing horizons. They're getting into areas that they have not done before as a agent. So really a great way to expand your marketing efforts. Maybe you've done some mailings in the past. Maybe you haven't done any seminars, or maybe you haven't done any internet marketing or social media marketing. They help you with all that. So really a great go-to on our end, and we're glad that we have them on board. We have our website available to you 24/7. You can get quotes off the website. You can look up annuity rates. You can look up information on different company websites. You can get in and maybe get into a state website. We've got some great tax information on board, some other good information you can utilize in your efforts. So definitely take a look at our website. You can do annuity quotes. You can do annuity income comparisons. You can do term quotes. You can do long-term care quotes. A lot of different things you can use off our website. You can get supplies. You can do term quote comparisons. Maybe you're looking for the best rate for a client. You can do that right on board. A lot of different things you can utilize based on what we have available on our website. So definitely keep that handy based on your needs, and we'd be glad to get that taken care of for you. So definitely keep that in mind on what we do have available on that end. And if you do have any questions along the way during our meeting this morning, go ahead and get those asked based on your needs. Maybe you want to ask Dave about something he specifically does to get more clients involved, get more attendees on the seminars. So we really some good stuff you could take advantage of there. So definitely keep that handy based on what we have on that end. We also have our retirement analyzer software program. You can utilize that software program. It's a great package to take advantage of. You can do some great you can plug in situations where you can look at what's going to happen 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road. You can really do some forecasting based on your client's current savings, how much they have to save the next number of years to get to the levels they need to be at for retirement. Maybe they're looking for a specific type of income in retirement. They don't have enough money to buy a sports car, maybe buy a new home or buy a second home. You can pound all the numbers and figure out what they need to save to get to those levels. You can plug in some different situations that may occur, being at nursing home stays. Maybe one of the spouses dies prematurely. You can look at tough economic times. I mean, you can really plug in a lot of different variables. It's going to kick out some great information, really colorful details you'll get on the printouts, and be able to utilize that information with your client and be able to go ahead and go over the whole printout with them, hopefully be able to close sales based on that information. So definitely something good to look at on that end. So definitely keep in mind that those are available to you. We've got a great wealth management team here now. We've been in business for a year now on that end. So on our 1 year anniversary on the wealth management side, I know we've got millions of dollars under management already. It's a great system to utilize if you are active in the security side of the market. We've got a great platform you can utilize. We've got some really good staff on that end. We've got some great platforms your clients can take advantage of for returns. And I'm going to launch a quick poll here. If you have interest in Getting some more information on the wealth management side of our business. Mark off yes on this poll here. I know that we've seen a good block of business heading into that wealth management side. If you want to receive some help to get your Series 65 passed, maybe you're trying to find the best options for your clients on that end. So you'd hate what happens when you refer someone to another broker. Client goes with that broker, the broker talks them into taking out more money than you expected out of their assets, investing those in the brokerage side. You're losing money on your end. It's always best, of course, to have all the eggs in your basket, be it the insurance side, the security side, whatever it may be. The more things you can handle on your own, the better off you're going to be with that client, and they're not going to look at going elsewhere to get additional investment options. So if it's something you have some interest in, mark off yes. I know that we've got a great group in that department. We've got Charles Jr., we've got Michael, we've got Joan. They do a great job on that wealth management side. They do meetings also about once a quarter. We bring in about 10 to 15 agents that are involved in the security side, and we kind of go over our platform with them, go over ways they could take advantage of what we offer to expand their business. So something you may want to consider down the road. So if you have interest in that, just mark off yes on this poll. We'll go ahead and get you called the next day or two based on that interest. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and close this poll up here in about 10 seconds. So if you do have interest, go ahead and vote that you want to have one of our wealth management team give you a call, go over what we have available on that side, and they'll make some contact with you shortly. I'm going to go ahead and close that up, and we'll move on. I know we do a lot of these life and annuity academies, do about 4 a year, and very popular event we hold. We hold them typically in Omaha or Des Moines, Iowa. I know we have one coming up in later May the 23rd to the 25th. We're going to be holding this next one in Omaha, Nebraska. We bring in about 6 different companies. Meeting we hold. They do great presentations on the life side, on the annuity side. Give you some sales ideas. We bring in a number of our top annuity sales agents. They'll come in and go over some of the programs they use in the field, some of the things they do. Really a nice program there. And if that's something you have some interest in utilizing, mark off yes on this poll right here. We'll go ahead and touch base with you. We'll send you out the link to get registered for our next meeting in May. Otherwise, we'll probably hold another one in September and then one later like in October. But really a good way to get information from our top salesman. Dave Pimper typically is there. He does a great job on going over things he uses in the field. I know Dave's got the expertise on both the security side and the insurance side. He's been working that business for years and really developed a great seminar system on that end. He'll go over some details on that. He'll go over some other ideas he uses in the field to make more sales, to get in front of more individuals. Some really great stuff he can go over with you in the meeting itself. But that's something you have interest in attending, mark off yes. It is all expense paid. We pay for your transportation. We pay for your lodging. We pay for your food and drink. We take care of everything. So as soon as you leave your general area, we take care of everything from that point forward. We'll also be reviewing some great software information, be it the retirement analyzer and some other software packages we have available to you in the field. We'll go over some of the latest and greatest sales ideas, which strategies have been working the best on the indexed annuity side of the business. We'll go over some different high-end life insurance sales information. So really some great stuff you'll be receiving at these meetings. We typically bring in between 30 and 40 agents to each meeting. So really a good block of information you'll be receiving at the meeting itself. So again, if you have some interest in attending one of our meetings, just mark off yes. We'll see if we can't get you into the May meeting or the September meeting. You do have to be licensed with one or two of our companies. We have to have you on board. We prefer you've done some business before you attend one of our meetings. So some great details to be covered during those. I'm going to go ahead and close this up in about 10 seconds. So if you do have interest in it, yes.
How are you doing?
Good. So if you have interest in coming up to the meeting, be sure to vote yes on that, and we'll go ahead and get that done on that end. So go ahead and close that up here.
Matt, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, good. Yeah, I apologize about this. For some reason I cannot get into my PowerPoint, so you're going to have to go in and change the slides on your side. I've got audio, but so I'll just say what it is, and we'll just kind of go from there. And then
sounds good. We'll go ahead and get Dave started. I know Dave's been in the business for a number of years now, and he does a great job on the seminar side. He's developed the 401k IRA system, and he's had great success with this on both the security side and the insurance side. Dave's available for coaching. I know Dave does a great job on getting agents going up the steps to higher production levels. I know he's taken agents from doing $500,000 a year to doing $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million a year. I know we've had a lot of our attendees on our annual sales incentive trips. A lot of them have participated with Dave on his systems, and he does a great job on that end. So we'll go ahead and bring Dave on here. Dave, we'll go ahead and get rolling here, get things rolling.
Okay, hey, thanks a lot, Matt, and I appreciate it. Sorry about I can't see the slides for some reason. We got some technical difficulties there, but I can certainly have the good audio. And then, Matt, you can kind of tell me what slide do we have up right now?
So right now we got the 401k IRA rollover game plan.
Okay, so we'll go to the next slide.
How much do you
the header
know?
Is. Good. Okay, so it says this is kind of a quiz, just to find out a little bit about what you know about 401ks and IRAs, and just Matt briefly talked a little bit about background of myself. I'm 63 years old. I've been in the business since I've been 26, and so 1981, maybe I was 27. So 1981 is when I started into the financial arena. My first 3 years with insurance, and then my years since have been with securities and with mainly fixed and fixed income annuities is what I show. So I'm more of an investment type of strategy person. Done a lot of marketing in my years. I've given over 500, I think 581 seminars right now. Excuse me, 481. So not quite 500 seminars right now since the mid 80s. And seminar marketing is not for everyone, because it certainly is kind of a pay to play. I mean, it does cost for those mailers, or if you're doing social media advertising to get people there. But it's great when you can give one presentation to a lot of folks, and there's no doubt when you're looking at 401ks, IRAs, you know, it certainly is a topic where you're working with a very good age demographics, pre-retired or just retired, and we're looking at that rollover retirement money, which is the largest asset. As of about 10 years ago, it surpassed home equity as far as the largest asset for the average American. So let's go into those questions real quick. So the first one, if it's up there, says you make your initial Roth IRA contribution for the 2015 tax year on April the 15th of 2016. How many years do you have to wait to withdraw all the money out tax-free? So not just the principal, but earnings and growth. You know the answer to that? To have it all tax-free? Most people say 5 years, but you know what the answer is? 3 years, 8.5 months. And the reason for that is whenever you start a Roth IRA, it will always backdate for the starting 5-year time period of 1/1 of that year that you're putting the money in for. So if you wait to the 15th, tax filing time, yeah, it's 8.5 months, 3 years, 8.5 months. Okay, second question.
I didn't even know that answer, Dave. I thought it was 5 years.
Yeah, because everything backdates back, Matt, to the first day. So if you put in on the 2nd,
right?
Say for the tax year 2016, you put on the 2nd of January. Well, really now it's 4 years, 364 days.
Sure.
So if you put it on January 1 of the next year, it backdates to 1/1 of 216. So now it's only 4 years.
That's a great deal.
Yeah. So the most it can be is 5 years, but unless you're on the very first day of the year, which is a holiday, which nobody can do it, no one actually has to wait for a full 5 years to make the earnings and growth 100% tax free. Bet you didn't know them apples, did you?
I didn't. Those are all new to me.
Yeah, interesting. Number 2, what type of trust do you have to establish for your IRA when your intent is to make sure that your designated human beneficiaries within that trust are able to inherit, or it's called stretching, or stretch out the tax deferral for off of their life expectancy. So what kind of trust? Then you can show the answer. It's a conduit trust, which could be, it's called a see-through trust or a look-through. It looks through or it sees through for the heartbeat. You have to have a human person in that trust, i.e. being a conduit trust, to be able to stretch that out. Okay, number 3.
Got it.
What type of trust do you have to establish for your non-IRA with an annuity when your intent is to make sure that designated human beneficiaries within that trust are able to stretch out the tax deferral? This is a heads-up trick question for a non-IRA. Answer: can't be accomplished. The 5-year rule comes into play. So there's certainly a different, you can inherit or stretch out an IRA, but you cannot with a non-IRA. Number 4, what does the designation of per stirpes mean pertaining to beneficiaries?
Is that some kind of a disease?
yeah, that's right. We're not going to talk about it. Yeah. Oh, gosh. Okay. Yeah. Answer: it's a Latin word meaning by root or by branch, by bloodline. Yeah. So what happens is, let's say you got a father, son, they're married, each has a kid. Let's go back on this. Let's say it's a father and mother. They have 2 children. Those 2 children are married and have 1 child each. Let's say one of those sons die and they forget to change beneficiaries, which happens with all the turmoil and emotional turmoil. And say what happens is the mom and dad, let's say they pass away. What happens is that money, half of it would go to the in-law, would go to the wife. That's per capita. If it's per stirpes, it would follow down through the bloodline of the child. The child would get the money. Now, she might be the custodian of that until he's of age, but it goes through the bloodline. So the answer is by the bloodline. Okay, for the next slide.
Got it.
Can you tell me what it says? Does it say potential rollover?
Yes, it does.
Here we go. Potential rollover options. Those are actual slides from the workshop itself. If you have any questions, type them on in, and I will certainly answer those at the end of the presentation here in about, because we're about 25 minutes out to the end here. So potential rollover options for your 401k. Now, 401k is a company for profit retirement plan. 403b is not for profit, and 457 is a government deferred comp plan. But they have 401k is what you run in the most, and then 403bs, and then 457s. But what happens is they're all kind of twin brothers and sisters. So rollover options. This is my first slide. So you could do nothing. Okay. As long as you only got $5,000 or more, you can do nothing. You can roll over to a new company retirement plan if they'll accept it. 20 years ago, most didn't. Now, most do. Take a lump sum distribution. There's actually one good reason to do that. And just to let you know, how many people, Matt, do you have any idea how many people in the United States, out of a retirement plan like this, they retire and they just take their money out and all of it's taxed? What percentage of the people do you think do that?
30.
And you guessed high, didn't you?
I did.
It's 52%.
Wow.
Is that bizarre?
That is way bizarre.
Now, the people that I work with, no, that's not going to be the case. And it might be but there's people that, they say, heck with it, we're going to pay the taxes right now, and it's, but there is a reason why you would do a portion, and I'll talk about it in a little bit here. Convert to a Roth IRA, and then how we normally get compensated and helping the people the most is rolling it over, transferring it to a traditional IRA. So let's go to the next slide.
Got it.
Do nothing?
Yep.
Okay, good.
And your picture's on here, Dave.
It is, but you know what? I have contacts now.
All right.
Okay,
Got rid of the glasses.
Yeah. Do nothing. Leave your 401k where it is. Well, you could certainly do that. If it's $5,000 or more, you could certainly do that. And so why? So let's talk. So the next slide, it talks about why leave your investments in your current 401k plan. Well, there is one good reason. If you were let go, you retired, you were fired, and you were 55 years of age or older, up to 59 and a half. So 55 to 59 and a half. First of all, if you roll that over into an IRA, say it was with me and you're rolling it over with me, you cannot take a part of that money out without a 10% penalty because of the 59 and a half rule, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What happens if you leave it with your 401k provider? Now what happens is, as long as you're 55, you can take money out without any 10% penalty. So
Did they just recently change that rule, Dave?
That's been a while but probably 10 years,
okay.
8 years or something like that. But it's most people don't know about it.
No.
They don't know about it. So what happens is, let's say a person's got $300,000 in a 401k, and that's the majority of the money that they have, and they're gonna buy a car, and the car is going to cost $35,000. I had this exact same thing happen to me, $35,000. Well, I asked the person if they wanted to roll the whole thing over with me, and I said, "Is there any big?" Because they only had about $8,000 in savings, which was not enough for them.
Mm-hmm.
But their car was old, and they wanted to buy. It wasn't a really super nice, but a nice car for $35,000. And so we kept $50,000 in his 401k. And about 18 months later, he was 56 at 57 and a half. He took money out without any kind of 10% penalty. He had to pay taxes on that money, just like you would if you roll it over from the IRA. But we rolled over everything but $50,000. And once he bought the car, then we rolled there was about 6 or 7 or 8,000 left. We rolled it on over altogether. But that would be a neat reason. Why not to take all your money out of a 401k? Okay. Now, what happens is you have to. It's a 401k where you just retired, got let go, got fired. Not a different one, not a dormant one. What happens if you're 54 years of age? It doesn't work. And if you're over the age of 59 and a half, who cares? Because you can do it. You can do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Another considerations, ERISA, in the state of Nebraska, where I'm from, and Matt, where you're from, there is the protection is very similar between an IRA and a company retirement plan. But in some states, it is harder, much harder, to get to a 401k as far as a creditor, meaning bankruptcy, credit action, lawsuit, in a 401k than IRA. So kind of check with your state, but that could be a reason of keeping money in. Also, maybe your 401k just offers lower fees than the outside. But I don't say the word annuity or fixed index or fixed. But how many fees are there? Would say no income rider, and it's not a fee to count. How many fees are inside of a fixed indexed annuity? 0. There's none. So it could be lower. And some people just keep it there because it's the easier choice. May not be the best choice, but it's just an easier choice to do nothing and leave it there. Now, time out. What happens is with the crowd, they're thinking, why would he want us to leave? How does he make money by leaving it in the plan? Or how does he make money by leaving the $50,000 or $45,000 in to buy the car? I mean, we don't make money from that. We lose money, but it's in the best interest of the client. And we're not trying to go in and just make the most commission. We get compensated fairly for the financial products we show. We're trying to give the best advice we possibly can to that potential client. Okay. Next slide.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, it says roll your retirement fund to a new company retirement plan. So this is very similar to keeping it on your own. And I have added just a couple extra things. One is just the investment choices. Look at the investment choices you have outside versus inside of your plan. Most plans will offer a bevy of mutual funds, but normally they don't, Matt, they don't have a very good guaranteed option, do they?
No, they don't.
No, they don't. I mean, the highest guaranteed option I've heard of is about maybe 3%. Most of them are 2%, or they'll do a stable income fund that doesn't have an absolute guarantee of principal. It's stable, earning about 1.5%, but there's still some fluctuation. So this is where the fixed index, the fixed, certainly could come into play. Loan provisions. So, Matt, does an IRA have loan provisions? Can you take a loan against your IRA?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You cannot. Can you take a loan if in a 401k? Yes, you can, as long as it's in their blueprint. That you're able to do that. Most plans have that. I'm not in favor of taking loans, but if you need to take loans, don't roll it over. And I like saying that because it's, besides it being true, it shows that I'm not afraid of saying, hey, we don't have to have all that money, or whatever's in your best interest, I may be able to help you. I certainly can from investment or financial choices, but if loans are that important to you, you probably want to keep it there. And some people just want to consolidate. So they'll take an old 401k, put it into a new 401k. There's kind of grouping and consolidating their investment money. Now fees could be lower, but I will say this: 401k plans have been under a lot of scrutiny about having layers of kind of hidden fees that you really don't know what you're paying for. So know exactly what you're paying for and what the costs are. Okay, next slide. And those are my actual slides. Take a lump sum distribution. Is that what it says, Matt?
Yes.
Yep. Now I'm going to say something. We don't have it in those set of slides here, but I do go in and talk about the 2018 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act tax reform. And I got 4 slides that talks about individual and business and corporate taxes. And there isn't a lot of information out right now. And we on the invitation, excuse me, we go in and highlight that. And that's really interesting to a lot of people. And I say in there, because there's a picture of Trump on each one of the slides, I'll say whether you love him or you hate him, this is nothing to do about politics, whether you're conservative or whether you're liberal, Democrat or Republican or independent, or whether you're a socialist. And I kid like that because of Bernie Sanders. But I say, is it going to help us? And what happens is that we talk about the standard deduction nearly doubles. Last year, 70% of the Americans took a standard deduction. They claim now, and that's a bipartisan tax institute, that 94% will take the standard deduction. There's such a thing as
that simplifies things, right?
Very much so. Now, the brackets didn't get simple. There were 7 brackets before. There's 7 brackets now. But there's certainly used to be called tax bracket creep. This is tax bracket non-creep. The brackets are a little bit lower, might be expanded a little bit of the dollar amount, but there should be some savings there. But the personal deduction is huge. For a married couple, it's $24,000. So the first $24,000 that you make, no taxes. That's a big deal.
I can retire now, Dave.
I wouldn't say you can retire, but maybe you can play golf one more time a week.
There we go.
Yeah, we're supposed to play golf tonight. This is the one day it's going to rain in like 3 weeks. It's going to be on our golf night, Matt. So
that's right. It's not looking good.
Yeah. But anyway, what happens here is on pass-through companies. So passes through to your as far as the entity, the company taxation entity, like S corp or LLC, a proprietorship. That's going to pass through, and as long as you don't make over $315,000, which most people don't in our business, you're going to be able to go in, and the first 20% is not going to be taxed. I'm telling you, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Companies like Apple, Microsoft, they're going in and bringing money in from across seas, cash, bringing them back in the U.S. Why? Because corporate tax rates went from 35% down to the highest bracket of 21%. At 35%, you know what? Of 184 countries that have a corporate income tax, we were ranked the third highest taxed country in the world out of 183, 184 countries. Now at 21%, we're just below the median. So companies like Apple's got $252 million that they're bringing back. You know what that's called? Matt, any idea what that's called? We take money from another country and bring it back into your country.
What's that?
Repatriation.
All right.
It's called repatriation. And they have to pay 15.5% on that money coming on back. But Apple just did it. They paid a fee to the U.S. government of $38 billion to bring back 252, I said billion, I apologize, $252 billion. Yeah, 1/4 of a trillion. That's T, like Tom Thumb.
That's a lot of money.
A lot of money on the repatriation. Yeah.
Good.
Okay. So the only reason I bring that up is because we talk about that. It takes about 10 minutes of the first presentation, but people are very interested about that. And a family of 4, 2 adults, 2 children, making $72,000 a year, on an average, they will get back $2,200. They'll save $2,200 in taxes. You know what I did? I went in, and on my month of January, I didn't pay any federal income tax. I'm taking out just the same as I always did. But my CPA said, you're not going to pay near the taxes this year, Dave. I said, well, heck, I'll just go in and save some money in January. Pay for all my December and Christmas stuff. So the reason I'm bringing this up, even though we don't have slides on it, is that that's interesting to people, and we market that in the invitation under the new tax reform, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2018. Went signed in on December the 22nd and actually signed into law then, but it actually was activated on January 1 of this year, so it's brand new, and most people don't have any idea because there's hardly any news out there at all on it.
Right.
And we're able to give them great information. Okay? So now, does it say take a lump sum distribution?
Yeah, I just launched a quick poll on people that want to get some additional information on the seminar system, Dave.
Yeah.
So I like to do this about 30 minutes into the meeting itself, so I just went and launched that. So if you would like to get more information on Dave's seminar program, services that Dave has to offer, mark off yes on the poll I just launched. And I know that you want to go over kind of the package they get based on the system that you have available, Dave?
Sure. You know what? And again, this is for people that I mean, there's some people that are happy with their production. I mean, they're kind of on, I won't say easy street, but they're kind of on cruise control, and they're pretty darn happy. This really isn't. You can certainly mark yes, and we can talk if you have any questions about the retirement marketplace or 401k IRA rollover marketplace. But what happens is most people would like to get in front of more prospects, qualified prospects.
Right.
And this is, I put this workshop together. It has a FINRA review letter. Won't make a difference if you're insurance licensed, but it will if you're securities licensed. Has a FINRA review letter, so your compliance department will give it the green light. It's only about 2 years old, 2.5 years old, so it's within the 5-year. That's kind of a 5-year rule of thumb of getting a FINRA reviewed again. But what happens is I coach you. And that's one of the big difference between other systems that FMOs have or mailhouse companies have is that you're paying me to coach you through slide to slide to slide, how to set the room, how the demographics, I mean everything. So we got pretty much, it's a turnkey system A through Z, and the coaching part is inexpensive. Coaching part, I mean, I get paid for 5 coaching sessions, $150 each, is $750. IAMS, as long as you qualify, meaning you're contracted and your intent is to run business through IAMS. IAMS, the cost, IAMS pays for $555 of the $750. So you pay $195, and you can use me from then on anytime that you've got questions, which is pretty cool. And my coaching clients certainly do. But if you'd like to get some information, bounce some things off, maybe you did a seminar years ago and didn't have much success. Not that this is guaranteed and perfect, but I'll tell you what, it's pretty good. And myself and my group of guys and gals that use this seminar system have had some very, very good success. Very good. So please mark yes or mark no. If you mark no, we won't contact. But if you mark yes, then we'll give you a call. Just put down a daytime phone number. That's a good one for us to reach. Lynn or Amy, one of my 2 administrators, will give you a call, probably Lynn, and then line things up. And then we can talk. We can talk for 20, 25 minutes, and a little bit of what your marketing is and maybe something I can help you with.
Definitely, I think it's a great opportunity, of course, to expand into some new horizons and expand your business. And if you haven't done too many seminars in the past, this would be a great way to go about getting in front of more clients. Now, do you do a meal with this one, Dave, or do you go without a meal on this one?
This is a mealed seminar, so there are some people that don't like mealed seminars, and our Social Security comes into play there, claiming.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But this is not strong enough on its own, Matt, to go in and get enough people there, because we need 35 to 45 people between 2 nights.
Sure.
And the cost of the mailing. And we don't do any social media with this, or normally don't do any social media. It hasn't worked as well, social media, like Facebook advertising, with dinner workshops as it has with non-dinner. But we should get 35 to 45. Last one that we did, we had, which was very good. We got 2 real good sales out of that. But it's we walk you through and handhold you through. This is no different. And I remember one time when our kids were little, they were like 8 and 5, and we got them a little plastic swing set thing. We put it up in the basement, and it was this thing said it's supposed to take 50 minutes to put together. Well, after about a bottle of wine and 3 hours, the night before Christmas, we finally got the dumb thing put together. But we had instructions, but just think if there was a guy there with you.
It would have gotten much smoother.
That had done it, yeah. It may have taken that bottle of wine, it may be half a bottle, a quarter. Right. But there would be someone saying, no, do it like this, like this. I've done this 1,000 times before. Do it like this, like this. Right. That's what we do. We help you. We hold you through it. Most seminar systems don't have that available.
Yeah, I'm going to leave this vote up for about another 15, 20 seconds. So if you do have interest in getting some more information from Dave's group, we'll go ahead and contact you the next 24, 48 hours and get things set up for you on that end. So definitely
believe me, this is a soft sell. When we're talking, we're trying to see if there's something we can give. I know this is geared around this workshop, but it might be another workshop or another marketing idea. But something to help your business grow. That's what's the most important thing. And for me, seminars are the mainstay of what I do. It's not all I do, but it is the mainstay because I like talking one presentation, having a lot of people, and then just setting up the appointments right there at the workshop. We do it through evaluation form, and it's worked very well for us in our group.
Great. Let's go ahead and move on, Dave. Let's get this thing rolling here.
So take a lump sum distribution. So this is, if you take it from a retirement plan, they're going to take 20% in taxes out, mandatory, automatically. So if you have $100,000 you're pulling out, you're only going to get 80, and you actually have the right to roll that back over within 60 days with no taxation. but you got to go in and you got to put that other $20,000 back. Well, not everyone has $20,000.
No.
Or what happens if you have 300,000 out, 60,000? Who has 60,000 in a checking account? Hardly anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So what happens is that, is there a good reason to cash out? Well, here's the only really good reason. It's called net unrealized appreciation, and we can go to the next slide. So net unrealized appreciation are called NUA. Now, even if you're not securities licensed, you can tell them of the idea of this, that it's just available. But if you've got company stock in your 401k, and that company stock, it's your company and it's publicly traded. You work for Microsoft, it's Microsoft stock. You work for Kellogg's, it's Kellogg's stock. You work for IBM, it's IBM stock. And let's say that you go in and you want to go and retire, or you're having an end of business, okay? So here's what happens. If that stock's highly appreciated, here's what you can do to turn it in from an ordinary income tax to long-term capital gain tax, which is favorably taxed, okay? So I'm making this up. Say there's $400,000 in your 401k, 300,000 are in mutual funds through varied mutual funds within your company platform. 100,000 is in your company stock. You work for IBM, and it's IBM stock. Can't be working for IBM and have it Microsoft stock. Has to be IBM. Let's say you've been putting that IBM stock for 25 years. So on that $100,000 of IBM value, you've only got a cost basis of $25,000 in that stock because you purchased it when it was much lower. It's appreciated there. So it's highly appreciated. So here's what happens is, when you move the money out, you're going to roll over the 300,000 mutual funds into a rollover IRA, or transferring rollover IRA, direct rollover. The 100,000 you're not. You're just going to go and put it into a personal account. If Dave Pimper, you put it in a Dave Pimper personal account. So it's taxed, but not at 100,000. You pay ordinary income tax only on the 25,000. On the 75,000, you don't have to sell it. You can sell it anytime you want to, but that's going to be taxed at a long-term capital gains rate because it's been held for more than a year. Pretty cool. So you're transferring ordinary income tax to long-term capital gain tax. Now, if your stock's not highly appreciated, it doesn't work. If you're not in a higher tax bracket, it doesn't work. But if you're in a higher tax bracket and you've got company stock that's highly appreciated, especially like if you get got option to buy your stocks, buying in, or you get so much, per paycheck, that type of thing, or you're paid in stock at the end of the year on a bonus. I'll tell you what, if you've had that done for 20, 30 years, it'll be highly appreciated. And executives are many times with stock options are paid that way. That's called net unrealized appreciation. Now, time out. When you're saying this, most people, this is not going to make any difference. I do about one a year of those. But you know what happens is the other people are going, that's interesting. I never heard of that. If I don't know that, maybe I need to talk to Dave Pimper about the other things I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's kind of coming across. Okay, next slide. We have 3 or 4 like this. This is from Henry Heine. It says, experience is a good school, but the fees are high. You don't try doing this yourself, because if you make a mistake, it's expensive. And I talk about RMDs, required minimum distributions. You look at your December 31st of the year before value of your IRAs, not counting your Roths, and you have to take that percentage out from the uniform life code table at December the 31st of the next year. What happens if you take it out January 1, a day late? And you're supposed to take out, I'm just making this up, $10,000 for your RMD, required minimum distribution. Well, if you're a day late, the government can come back and say you owe 50% fine, $5,000 fine. One of the highest, probably is the highest cost of fees if you make a mistake. So try to find someone like myself who really understands this system. Next slide. Now, I'm going to do this pretty quick, just so, but we talk about Roths, talk about the 5-year hold rule, which which and then now I, for this workshop or this webinar, went in and talked about the 3 years, 8.5 months, but I don't do those slides with the public. So then I talk about that. Then I go to the next one about Roth conversions, IRA Roth conversions. So Roth, and I talk about where Roth, when you start the first one, what happens is, and you start one the next year, then instead of 5 years, it's 4 years. The next year's 3 years. Next year's 2 years. Once you're 5 years out, in this case, it could be even 3 years, 8.5 months out, then the instant you put it in is tax-free. I talk about that. Partial conversions. Talk about there's no RMDs and there's no age limits as long as you've got, wage income, working income. And then I talk a little bit about reducing and eliminating tax on Social Security. And then recharacterizations. Well, you know what happens now? The new Jobs Tax Cuts and Jobs Act you can still do a conversion, but you can't recharacterize it. You can't do it over again by October the 15th of next year. So the slides have a big no sign, in the middle of that. Next slide. How do you move your 401k to an IRA? I talk about indirect rollovers and direct rollovers. Direct rollovers, those are the ones you want to do. You can do as many as you want to in a year. You never touch the money. It's never made out to you. Goes to custodian to custodian. Beautiful. Indirect rollovers, the money goes to you. If it's from a company plan, 20% comes out. If it goes to you, you can only do one per year. What happens if you do two indirect rollovers in a 365-day time period? Say you do one for $100,000 and one for $5,000. You know what happens is everything is taxed. All that money out, because you can only do one per every 365 days. But with direct rollovers, you're transferring to custodian, trustee to trustee. You can do as many as you want. It's much safer. You should always try to do that if you possibly can. Next slide. It talks about indirect rollovers. Talks about taking that checks made out to you. Don't get this substituted or confused with like what Fidelity does. Some other Vanguard does this. You can get on the phone and have that check, your 401 check, mailed to you, but it's made out to the new custodian. So you couldn't endorse it and cash it. That's considered a direct rollover. Indirect is when it's made out to you. You can still roll it over in 60 days, no problem. There's no taxation. But my, you might miss the 60 days. My. You might do two within 1 year, and it's all taxed. Yeah, that's tough. Tough. Next slide. Direct rollover. This is what we talk about on a direct rollover. Now, I'm going through those much quickly so we can kind of get out of here on time, but you can kind of see what I'm working with here. Let's go to the next slide. Does it say IRA direct rollover transfer?
Correct.
Good job, Matt. You're staying right up with me. I appreciate it. So it can be done with an existing. It could be done with a new. One of the big things here is why roll it over to something? Normally, you have more, better, or more timely investment options. There is far less rules in an IRA than an ERISA plan, like a 401k. Fees could be higher, could be lower, but you are going to continue your tax deferral, aren't you? Whether it's new or whether it's existing. Next slide. We talk about beneficiary options, the 7 options. Leave blank. Do we know what that's called when we leave it blank?
What's that?
When you die and you have no beneficiary, or you have no will. Any idea? So if there's no will, it's called dying intestate. But if you die without a beneficiary, it could flow over to the will, but it's certainly going to be probated, which you'd rather, if you have an individual person, you'd rather not have the cost or have the privacy issue or public issue.
True.
Of leaving blank. Can name an estate or will, spouse if married, children, grandchildren, charity. It's already going to be tax-free because it goes from taxable to tax-free to charity. I would not use a Roth IRA because there isn't such thing as double tax-free with the charity. Or you could use a trust. The next slide says I've got all the money I'll ever need if I die by 4 o'clock. Is that what it says on your slide too?
It does. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So what we're going to do here is that when we're looking at and I'm going to kind of end it here because we do talk about other things. There's about stretch beneficiaries, inherited beneficiaries, per stirpees, required minimum distribution, in-service non-hardship withdrawal, taking money out at 59.5 or later and be able to still be working there. There's a lot of cool things, but what happens is that this workshop, no doubt, really hones in on finding that rollover money. It has demographics of people who are just ready to retire or just retired, and we got a chance to grab that bigger money. We set up the appointments right at the workshop itself. And so we'll see if there's any questions, but I will say one more thing before we kind of end here, see if there's any questions, Matt, or you got questions.
Okay.
But one of the things I think that is important to know is that the cost, it's a cost to pay to play. If you're going to mail out 6,000 invites, they cost 55 cents each. So that's $3,300 plus meals. You might have $800 of meals. So you're getting up towards that $4,000 or even $4,500 figure. You can buy a used car for that. Maybe not a nice used car, but you could buy a used car for that.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is, we need to bring in. I normally average 250 to 300,000. That's about what I average of money coming on in for AUM in some form or another. Some are less, some are more. Have I got blank before? Not very often, but I have. Have I brought in over $1 million before? Yes, I have. Not very often, but I have. But if I can bring 250, 200, 300,000, I'm covered all my costs, making money, bringing people on with hopefully other money or referral sources. But it's a topic that most advisors are not honing in on and talking about exclusively. So I'm going to kind of leave it at that, Matt. And is there any questions that came on up or that you've got to answer here before we leave?
Yeah, the question: what's the usual time frame, Dave? Kind of start to finish on putting on a seminar. What's your thought about when the invitations go out? How much time frame you have between that and the actual seminar itself?
Right.
What's your usual turnaround time?
Yeah. So we like to have mail go out and hit in home 10 days to 2 weeks ahead of time.
Okay.
So you don't want it too far ahead; they forget about it. You don't want it so close that they don't have time to register.
Mm-hmm.
So say 10 days to 2 weeks. Then you have the workshop, and then you set up the appointments at the workshop through evaluation form. Yes, I want a consultation, just like we did today, or no, you don't. And so that's kind of the timeline on that, Matt.
Sure. Okay.
All right.
And then you typically have your seminars with another individual helping you, or you do them all by yourself?
Yeah, I've done it both ways, but I do it all by myself now. I can regulate the time much better. I had a lawyer that just was, he just took, I said, you got 12 minutes, and he would take like 25.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want those, at this age group, you don't want it to go out much longer than an hour. That's about the attention span of a 65-year-old, or maybe it's their bladder span. You don't want it to go out much longer than about an hour. And they're ready to eat. That brings it at 7 o'clock. We have 6 o'clock and eat at 7:15. And then there's time they got to fill out their evaluation form and, gets picked up. So that takes maybe 5 or 10 minutes. So this presentation takes me about an hour and 5 minutes. And I go a little bit slower than the average. Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Appreciate it. I think that's all the questions we had this morning. I do appreciate you being on this morning, Dave. Try to keep this to an hour or under. And if anybody has any questions, I know that I'll be available the next couple of days. This is Matt Tour up at Insurance Agency Marketing. I'm in the annuity marketing department, been here for years. And if you have interest, if you checked off yes on the survey that you want to get some additional information on Dave's program, as Dave mentioned, someone from his office will contact you the next couple of days to get an appointment set up for you. So we'll go ahead and get that done. Anything you want to finalize on this morning's webinar, Dave?
No, thank you very much for taking the time. My name is Dave Pimper. Lazarus Coaching is my coaching firm's name. I'd love to talk with you.
Well, sounds great. Appreciate everyone's time. Everyone have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye now.